Good afternoon, everybody. This is Ron Howard from Extreme Sequences. And this is long overdue. That's right. I spy on some of the posts out there. I see what's going on. I see all the questions. I don't just sit at home and sequence and ignore life. I get into your lives. I see what you're doing. And I see the questions. So, let's talk about high density. Let's talk about controller outputs. Let's talk about how do we divide these controller outputs with our high density models to make sense of this madness. And it's easier than you think. 9 out of 10 times we overthink it. And I think I can prove that today. So before us, I have a lovely 32 strand megatree. Does it look like it's kind of crooked? I don't care, it is. We have a Gilbert Engineering mother of all wreaths. We have a Rosa wreath. So the mother of all the wreaths is 640 nodes. The Rosa wreath is 696. The Grand Illusion. Look at this bad boy. Oh, what did I just do? I didn't want to do that. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. 1,000. Oh, wow. And if I don't forget, I'll kind of show you some of the cool new submodels that are in it, but I'll probably forget. So just know that when you get the model, there's a lot more to it. Thanks to Eric Meyer, who put some extra work into creating really cool outlines and things within the submodel to make it even more unique than it really already is. And last but not least, the Mega Spin Reel Max. This is a great, well, they're all great. You know what? It's so funny. It's like your children when someone says, hey, who's your favorite child? It's so hard, especially if they're listening. Can't really tell the truth, but I love all of these and all the flakes. So yeah, I'm kind of down with Gilbert Engineering. I can't help it. They are the true innovators in high density models, and it just is what it is. I was here when it happened. I can prove it. It's all documented. Anyway, let's get into this. First thing I want to do is just go over to our controllers and just show you that there's nothing up my sleeves. I have an actual live controller. It's an F48 sitting in the garage, all plugged in, all warmed up, put some extra oil in it. I have 50 universes. As you can see here, Falcon F48. It's on IP.51. I'm using E131 and 50 universes, as I said, with 510 per channel, and it shows all of these models on there. Beautiful. That's all you need to know about that. We go back over to our layout. And again, this is 32, and then we get into the big hundreds here. This one starts on controller output. Let me find it. Why is it? I should probably select it. There we go. Yeah, let's just scoot this bad boy up here so we can see everything. Controller output, or pigtail 1, from the first receiver on that F48. And that's going to take 32, those outputs. That's how I run mine. So we're using 32. And then we get to this. I'm going to start this on port 33. And then I'm going to start this on port 37. This on port 41. And this on port 45. So believe it or not, it may be a little overkill, but I'm running all of these off of one F48. Could I get more? Sure, of course. But I wanted to keep this as simple as possible. So let's just do this. Let's do this. First thing you're going to want to do is upload your input. That basically will send 50 universes with the E131 protocol. And it'll put it all in place with the 510 per universe. Great. And then all you do is upload output. But we're going to have a uh-oh moment. Uh-oh. I told you. Unable to adjust banks. Try to disable unused banks. I'm not going to do that. Shut up. Total pixel exceeds maximum allowed on a pixel port 1024. Well, yes. There's this slider thing on here. Look. I'm going to prove it to you. We'll go over here to our E131. You look there. Look at there. There's our 50. Yeah, it did what it was supposed to. We go over to our string ports and notice that, look at this slider. Slider set to 100, then 100, then 824. So there's no way I can send to one of these outputs 640 nodes the way it's set up, or 500 nodes. That dog will not hunt. Ever. Not on this F48. Not going to happen. So, what do? Well, the tree I think we can leave alone, because we know that's going to use 32 ports, 100 nodes per port, so that's not the problem. That's not it. We get to this mother of all wreaths, and we can see here it is one string of 640 nodes. Now, that's how I ran 2 of mine last year for Halloween and Christmas, and nobody get upset. No, I didn't power jack. No, I didn't power balance. I plugged in the damn thing, and it works just fine. Now, does that mean everybody should do it that way? No, because the distance between my power and data to that first pixel was really, really short, and it never got over 30%, and it ran just fine. But I'm not here to advocate to do or not do power injection or power balancing. You need to decide that. That is your journey. I have mine, you have yours. So, what will we do to make this easy to get this to the controller? Well, and later I can even on the controller change it if I want. But the main thing is we just want to get this to push up to the controller, because I mean I could do all this manually. It's 5 props. Who cares? But what happens when you have 105 props? Then it becomes more of an issue. So let's do this. Let's tell us we want 2 strings of 320. I guarantee you that will go. And what it's going to do is just going to take port 33 and 34. You tell it 2, it's going to take 2. Let's click save. Let's go to the next one. Oh, the Rosa wreath, love of my life. Yeah, the prop 2, of course. This one, we are telling it one string of 696 beautiful pixels. It's just wondrous. But it's never going to get to that controller. Not going to happen. Too many. So, this is where you get to decide how many strings you'd like to use. How many outputs from that controller might you use for the Rosa wreath? This last year for Halloween and Christmas, I used 2, but some might feel more comfortable using 3. So let's use 3 and watch what happens. Now you notice it doesn't give a number up here because this is not a native file. It's a custom model. And because it's a custom model, we get a few advantages in that we can click on the individual start nodes and you'll see there are strings 1, 2, and 3. And I can now tell it how many nodes, or I could say the start node is 1 on the first string, then it starts 349, and then it starts 465. Okay, that's great, but what if all my strings are in 50s and 100s and I don't want to have to cut anything? Then you can manually tell it here that you want this to be 350. And maybe for this to start on 466. So you can change these any way you like, whether you want 1 string, 2 strings, 3 strings, 4 strings. This gives you the ability to do so, and this will use 3 of the outputs when we send it to the controller. So we'll leave it alone for now, okay? Let's just hit save. Let's go to our next model. Oh, the Grand Illusion. Ooh, this is a whopper. 1,000 pixels in this puppy, and the effects look amazing. Okay, and I think what makes it look really amazing is that it's concentric. It's 50 all the way around, so it's 20 rings of 50, I believe. That makes sense. And here we can see that we don't have a choice. We can't tell it. Even if we tell us we want 4 outputs of 250, be nice if it did that math for us, wouldn't it? There is no individual start. This does not work. I can click on the plus, but I can't really do anything other than change the start channel. That's it. But this is now using 4 outputs of 250 each. And I think that's sensible and doable for 12 volt. Okay, save. The next one, Spin Reel Max from Gilbert Engineering. Fantastic prop. Really, really love this prop. Same thing here. You get to decide how many do you want to use. How many strings do you want to use for power data? It's 540. So we could do it with 2 or we could do it with 3. In this case, why don't we just use 3? We'll be on the safer side. And I'll click anywhere else. And now I have the ability to look at my individual nodes. And again, I like how this works here because 1 through 350 is on a single strand or string. And then 351 and then 361 starts 3. Great. Loving it. So let's see how this works for us. Back to our controllers, upload, output. No errors. Isn't that nice? Isn't it nice when you have no errors? Let's double click on this and see what it gives us. String ports. There's our tree, our mega tree, all 32 channels or 32 outputs. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Then our mother of all reads on 2 outputs, 320 and 320. Beautiful. It adjusts all of the beginning and ending absolute values for all your channels. But you should learn to get used to looking at these things. I'm a firm believer that you need to understand this world a little bit. It can really help you out. Here's a rosary starting at output 37 and 348, then 116, then 232. Here's what's nice about this. If I know there's 696, I can make these changes. I can tell us I want 350 total nodes on that. I want, maybe I want 200 on this. Or maybe I just want 200, 200, and 296. That's 696. You could do it this way. It doesn't really matter. As long as you're representing all of the pixels in order, and it knows when it leaves one pixel to start another one, doesn't matter how you slice and dice this. It just doesn't, okay? Same thing when we get to the grand illusion. This one's nicely set at 250. I kind of like that. That's probably how I will run mine, is 4 outputs from a receiver at 250 each. And then here's our mega spin reel. Now this one, this did some funky things coming over here because I'm pretty sure that we did not tell it to put 10 nodes on the second output. I'm really, really sure. And as a matter of fact, let's just go back here and look at this. Why would that have said, oh, yes, it kind of does though. Look at this. This is saying string 1 should be 1 through 350. Then we're going to start on 351, and then 10 nodes later go to 361. Well, this is kind of silly, so you might want to adjust this ahead of time. But again, I'm going to show you, this doesn't really, really matter. Let's get back over here, because I can adjust it here. If we know that this is, what do we say, that's 540? Why don't we just put this on 200, I don't know, 140, and 100. As long as we get to, or no, let's just do this 200, 200, and then 140. There we go. I believe that's 540. Okay. However you are going to wire your props, make this easy on yourself. Don't have to do a lot of soldering and cutting. Try to get it as even as you can. And that way you don't have to do all the splicing. And when you do this and you put this on your props, it's a good time to label it. Say this is input 1, input 2, input 3, input 4, no matter what it goes to the pigtail, because you may not know that. That may not be defined, but you know the outside part is going to be the first input, then the second and third and fourth. That will save you a ton of time and make it easier for troubleshooting, okay? I hope this was helpful. It's easy to get bogged down in this information. It's not always easily explained. It's hard to understand this reading a manual. I love manuals as much as the next, but videos do so much more justice. And if you ever have any questions in my Facebook group, you can ask as many as you like, and I don't care how many times we've heard them. We're going to answer them. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll talk soon.